Look what just arrived in the mail. All right. Let's see what we got here. We got a recone thing. Some gaskets. Let's take a look at what we got here. And there's our cone. Here's our voice coil. Here's our spider. Let me put on some forward light. Yeah, I didn't have the light on. Here we got this. Spider. And a dust cap. An envelope containing, got the braids, shim material, and a little how to do it. Now, I want to take a look at this. This is a Kapton. It's a heat-resistant type. However, the original, actually the windings are more windings. It's actually deeper than the original. So this is what they think is the right one, huh? I don't know. What do you think? They're not. They're almost the same. I don't know. We'll see. Well, I did a little thing off camera. I know I said I wouldn't do things off camera, but I slipped up here. So let me show you what I did. I finally decided to liberate the original voice coil here from all the surrounds. Just kind of scraped it off, you know, until I got down to these two lead wires right here. These are very delicate wires. And they were glued into this piece of speaker cone. And so I took a lighter and set it on fire, and the glue is flammable. What it did was it turned it into like powder. At that point, I could just simply gently pull the wires out of the powder and get them freed up. So one of the things I wanted to do first off here was to measure the impedance of this coil. Let's see what we got here. When you're measuring such low ohms, you gotta make sure that your connections are all nice and clean and worked in, and so that you get as little lead resistance as possible. Yeah, 1.5. Oh well. Okay. So this will be tricky. Hold that down. This is an 8 ohm coil. All right. This new one is a 16 ohm coil. So C15L C8768-3-5, a 16 ohm coil versus an 8 ohm coil. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the customer and ask him to check the other speaker in his cabinet to see what its resistance is. But the client finally got back to me, and he says that he has a -3 frame, and he's got a 16 ohm speaker. Well, this here's a -3 frame too, and it's an 8 ohm speaker. So, in cleaning this thing out, I started scraping out all the adhesives, and I found there's like a couple layers of adhesive. So this speaker was reconed. The best I can guess is that someone reconed this sometime in the past 50 years, and they put in the wrong voice coil. They put in an 8-ohm voice coil. So we're going to use the new voice coil. You know, that brings us to, you know,
it's a dual speaker cabinet.
So with a dual speaker cabinet, you want to have both of the speakers to have the same impedance speakers so that they receive equal load. In his case, he had an 8-ohm and a 16-ohm in one cabinet. Obviously a Frankenstein cabinet, you know. Those things happen over 50 years. And so the 8-ohm speaker was getting far more energy than the 16-ohm speaker. 16-ohm speaker was probably working at about 30%, and the 8-ohm speaker was probably working at 120%, you know. May have been why the thing just kind of fell apart after a while. It got so worn out from over-excursion.
I don't know, you know.
When you put those imbalanced speakers in place, you wind up with a different kind of impedance. You know, it's all based on the reciprocal of the sum of the reciprocals. It's a
Standard mathematics.
Here, let me show you. Yeah, if we just go here and bring up a calculator, and we clear this out, and we clear that out, and we take 8 ohms, and we take the reciprocal of it, and we store that away there. Clear that out. And then we take 16 ohms, take the reciprocal, add it to the value we had before, and we get that. And we take the reciprocal of that, and we see that we got 5.333333 ohms. It's always going to be less than the lowest impedance that you have there. So he actually had a 5.3 ohm speaker cabinet instead of a 8 ohm speaker cabinet like he had intended. What we need to do is finish cleaning this thing up and clean out the slot and get the parts put in and get this speaker back and going. So what we'll need to do here first is flip this over. I'm going to work on these. Got to take the this old braid out of here, clean out the solder. That's good. We'll go for the next one. Cleaned out, and we got a little mess up on here. Let's get rid of this. Take that out and straighten out this lug, and those are pretty good. All right, not bad. Now let's get back over here. What we want to do is we want to test fit the parts first. Let's take the spider and set it in. You know, the spider is hitting these screws. I mean, it does. Yeah, it fits in there nice. So there we go like that. Then we take the cone and we set it on top of the spider. We see how we're lining up. And we can see that there's a little interference. So we look at the bottom of the cone, there's a little lip here. We're going to cut that lip off. Let's see. Let's see how we fit. Oh, perfect. Sits down flat and smooth. Okay, so that's test fit. Now what we're going to do is we need to make ourselves a little slot cleaner. Take some tape. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing or not. Doesn't matter. There. Take that. Cut ourselves a strip about like. Then we take a little crazy glue. Just put a little bit on the back of the tape. Now come over like this. We fold the tape on itself and glue the backs together. And there we go. We've made ourselves a slot cleaner. Double-sided sticky. So we pull off of here. Put it down in the slot. I'm thinking this slot's probably already pretty clean. Yeah, it's pretty clean. Okay. And we got a little dirt out of there. Okay, now our slot's clean. It's time to put the voice coil in. Question comes in, see a voice coil, it can fall all the way down to there. You actually want it to be about that high. Well, what you want to do, in reality, is look at your magnet. You got this plate of steel, you got this magnet. Let's see, are we seeing okay here? Let me make sure. Plate of steel, the magnet, and the bottom plate. You want these windings to be right in the middle of this piece right here. So just a couple, you can see that just a couple windings will pop out of the top. Take note of where our terminals are.
Like that.
Now let's get some shim material. Let's get one of these. We just stick her down in the slot like that. We'll take the voice coil. Slip it over this shim and we put her down in here. It's a little too loose. Let's see. See if we can put another piece of shim material in there. This can get a little fiddly sometimes. You don't get stressed out about it. Just take it easy. And let's put this in the middle. And shove them down in there. Good. Be careful of our wires and make sure the wires are on the same side as the terminals. Then we put this on here. Slip her down in. That's going to get tight going here until we're in place. A couple windings sticking up above the surface here. And that will be the location of our voice coil. Now we take our spider. It's a little tight. Kind of wow out the inside a little bit. Oh yeah, that's perfect. And that would be where the spider goes. So at this point, we take a little Moyens adhesive here. And we put a little heat adhesive on this. Right here around the edge. There we go. Now, go back, put the spider back on, get her adhered, and that gets the spider put in place. So now it's time for the cone. For the cone, we're going to epoxy the spider to the voice coil using something I've never tried before. This is this self-mixing epoxy, they say now. Push it up into this. Put it. It's mixing in the tube. And there we go. And so we come down in here. Try to do as neat a job as possible. That's pretty good. Now, we take the moyens and we run a bead along this upper rim. And we take the cone. Okay. Last step here is we run one more bead of epoxy right down here. And that's it. Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to wipe off a little bit. And what we'll do is we'll temporarily put in the gaskets and hold them into a place with some tape. Cap up our moyens. We take this whole thing and we flip it upside down. And we let the weight of the speaker hold everything in place. All right, so we've let this thing sit for a while, like overnight. Anyway, let's get this flipped over and let's remove the shim. And the speaker is beautiful. There we go, get rid of that. We can pull these right now because we're going to deal with the two little hair-like wires down there coming off the voice coil. We'll get to those later. All right. Now, what we want to do is we've got a 4-inch dust cap. And so what we want to do is put a few little marks in here for centering. Now what we got to do is we line up right here and let's make those a little bit bigger. There we go. We have 2 little holes and we get the braid, or they call them the pigtails. We actually got to make the holes a little bit bigger. Just a minute. Big enough for these braids to go through. Everything is so tiny. It's so difficult to see. I'm going to have to increase the light because I'm just having a hard time seeing things. That's good. And we solder. Oh. Yeah, here we go. A little solder. That one. So that hooked up good. When I was younger, I could see this stuff a lot easier than I can now. solder this one together. Now we take some of this moyens and now we lean to like this setup. Yes, it may be true that time passes, but just a little bit of time, maybe an hour or so. Let's continue on. All right, we're gonna put the gaskets in right now. Gonna use the Moyen RS 3087 cement. Keep calling it adhesive, but it's cement. It's a good adhesive. And we're going to put these in here. Okay, next. Do this one. And we'll go for the last one. And let's give her a wipe off. Flip it upside down, once again letting the... Oh, jeez. That didn't go good. Let's use a little bit of that tape again. Now we can flip it over. Now we're going to work on these. You always got one that fights you. Okay, we pull these just about taut. Then we back them off a little bit. Solder time. There we go. Meter. And we got our 16 ohm speaker. And we do the last little thing, the dust cap. Put the adhesive on the edge here. There we go. Now grab this. Place it. And there we go. That's it. We're done. Well, that concludes the reconing of the Jensen C15L speaker. It's not that difficult of a project. It doesn't take that long. But there are some things that you have to look at with this. If you look around for a used Jensen C15L, you can find them. You wind up finding mainly Rolla C15L speakers passed off as Jensen's. So you have to be careful about that. But you can get them for, we'll say $100, $150 in that range. And then we got to take a look at what this costs to recone. Cost us $60 for the recone kit. Not bad. But then the shipping of the recone kit, which weighed probably a pound or so, was $30. That brings our cost up to $90. You got maybe about another $10 in expendables, like the glue and things like that. You're at $100 to do a recone. It might be a toss-up on whether you want to do this with such an old speaker. Now, they don't make C15Ls anymore. They make C15Ns and C15Ks, which are about comparable for a modern day speaker, but they're not like these. I think that the cost of the reconing with the shipping, and plus two, this is a mail-in, the shipping on that, makes it a toss-up on whether you get a recone or you get a new old or you get a new speaker, whatever it is. With all that in mind, you all take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next episode.